All right, so I see a couple people in. All right, wait maybe just a few minutes to let some more get in here.
A
So,
live group hug.
that's it. We need to sing Stevie Wonder's "We Are the World."
Yeah, most of those people would be in jail today, hopefully.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. Oh, hello, everybody. Although I'm sure some people are probably at work. Me and Bix these days work from home, basically. So
Not many people that work in California, that's for sure.
yeah, right now there's a whole lot of people at home. And what did I just see something from Southern California? The suicide hotline's up like 8,000% right now
Oh yeah,
of calls. Like, man, we need to seriously get back, man.
We need to open the door, run outside, and say, "Okay, I'm tired of listening to the government. This is my only hope. At least we get a fighting chance. I don't think nothing's ever going to go back to the way it was, but at least we'll have a fighting chance to do something, to make a living, to save our businesses and our lives. With the government in charge, they're not going to open anything up, and they're going to play it for everything it's worth. And you just got to stop listening to them pretty soon. I in my video this morning, I'm like, stop listening today. Let's get out there and go to work. If you think you're going to get a virus that might kill you, don't go outside. Stay inside.
You can choose to stay home. It's kind of simple. You're calling in sick today? Call in sick. Maybe it's for a couple of weeks, whatever. I'm sure your boss will understand, what's going on. Out of all the times, it's not like, oh, Bix, he keeps calling into work again. He's faking it again. No, it's a serious issue going on. Yeah, stay. You know what? You don't feel good. Stay home, because if you bring that shit here to work, then everyone else could possibly get it, and then we're all sick. So I don't see anyone's boss really giving a bunch of crap over this, honestly. So me and Bix, everybody, we're chatting the other day through email with Cliff High, and we're talking silver and $600 silver, and Uncle Cliff thinks it's getting pretty close to those days. Not necessarily right to 600, but at least those $2, $5, then $20 move kind of things coming. So we've been chatting again through email, and he just is really, really busy right now. Cliff is. We were possibly, looking maybe today or tomorrow to talk, but Bix was like, you know what, we're not doing nothing. I mean, you go talk the treasure stuff, because when we talk with Cliff, it's not going to be talking treasure and artifacts and Grand Canyon and
all the stuff we love.
Yeah, all the cool stuff. So this is kind of, take your mind off of all the BS right now going on out there, and just a couple guys talking about, history, ancient history, artifacts, things like that. And we both have, not really similar stories, but kind of in the same realm.
It's the same realm, the same area, the same. We both utilized the remote viewing guys at Crypto Viewing, and we've both found amazing things. And our investigations into this are ongoing and continual. And I really, when this lockdown's over, I am just dying to get back to the Grand Canyon, because I've got so much new research that I've done, new things that I've found to kind of support the concept of what's really in the Grand Canyon, how important it is, and how much they're hiding it. And I know you've found a lot of new stuff too.
Yeah, and I talk about this Indian guy I know, Fred, and I've mentioned a few things. By the way, when I picked him up, we were driving from where his daughter lived in New Mexico. He was at her house. I went and kind of took a different route to get him first, then go down to the area we stay at, which was, I think, an hour drive after I picked him up. So he's just talking to me, telling me some stories and things when he was a kid, and how some interesting things happened with him and that kind of thing. And I said he needs to hear the song, Bix's Indian chant song. So I said, hey, I'd like you to hear the song. My friend, he was up at the spot we're going to go to. We're going to free the souls, with you. And my friend Bix said he swears this like Indian woman spirit helped him write a song. And we were there, and he's like, guys, I got to go write a song. And we're all like, what? Dude, we're on the side of a mountain cliff. What do you mean you got to go write a song? He's like, I got to go do this. So we're like, well, someone's talking, he's got something going on. Go for it, dude. So he was gone for a couple hours. And I came back, and it's our favorite site to go sit down and eat lunch and look at the view. It's a beautiful spot. So he went over there, didn't know what he did. until the next day. And I started hearing him strumming on the guitar in the morning. I was like, whoa, 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 stop. I was like, don't even go. Let me go get my camera right now. I already heard a few little licks there. I was like, that's it, stop. Get the camera, go. So he did this song right there live on the back porch that this house we rented. However, so I play the song on my phone, so I got it saved on my phone for Fred, and he's looking at it and listening, and he says, okay, yeah, he goes, that guy, your friend, the way he's singing the chant, he's doing it the right way. And he kind of explained a little bit to me, and I can't really repeat what he said because I just can't really remember. He told me so much in that car ride, and then the next day, and like my brain just can't handle it all. But he had basically said, like, for some white person to just pretend to be an Indian and sing a chant, there's something you have to know. And he explained, okay, right there, you hear that? Yeah. Go back to that. Okay, do it again. Right there. That's how he says we always start our ceremony in a certain manner, in a certain tone, in a certain way of singing that chant. And he just did it. He's doing it. So when we open up to start, that's what he's doing it right there. He probably doesn't even know it. I said, well, no, I don't think so, because you're telling me now, and we've never discussed this. So he goes, yeah, he's doing it right. He started off just appropriately.
The amazing thing about that is because in the beginning of that video, I was like, I don't know how to do the chant, right? I kept saying that. I don't really know how to do the chant, but can you imagine some real Indian person doing it? Afterwards, I had a reading with Michelle Whitedove, and she's going through a lot of stuff about my psychic ability, if I have any, and things like that. And she says, holy crap, Bix, you have a whole lot of American Indian spirit guides helping you. There's more you need to do there. And I was like, wow. I mean, because I'm so interested in what really happened in the Grand Canyon with the Hopi, with the ant people, with the pyramids in the Grand Canyon, all the gold that's there. And I mean, right now, that's really drawing me, and I can feel it drawing me. And so leaving you and the guys, going to the airport, I'm like, I got to do some more research. So I started looking up like American Indian chants and what they mean. And this is after we did the video. And I'm like, they aren't really, it's more about the feeling that you get. And it's not necessarily about the words that are being said, or even if they are saying words sometimes. It's the feeling and the emotion. I'm like, well, I just did it the way I felt. And I could feel myself being, and I talk about it in the song, being influenced by my, American Indian spirit guides. And I talk about the ancient woman that comes in and things like that. And I guess it came out through the song and the tune and I did it the way it felt right. And I guess I was channeling something there, but I love that stuff. I loved being on that trip. I hate fighting with you, Snippy. It's never going to happen again.
It's good. We're good.
We can agree to disagree on all kinds of things. But,
it's a highly amped time period right now. Everyone's on edge. That's why I'm like, I hope these guys still want to be my friend after this is all said and done, because I'm kind of hitting them kind of hard right now. And I had a couple conversations recently with some of my woo-woo friends, and one in particular, this guy that I know, he said, yeah, he's like, look, they've made some good points. You've made some good points. The bottom line is, like, we need to focus on the future and that kind of stuff. He says, but he says, for you, you can see the passion coming out when you're, all amped up on some of the stuff. He said, my guys are telling me to just tell you, like, it probably would have been a lot better if you went after them with compassion more than, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I got that too. When I did my response, I'm like, what the fuck is I saying? It's interesting, and both of us kind of go from our gut, and we get passionate about our research and what we see is happening. The hardest thing about the coronavirus and all that stuff was, it's kind of like 9/11. When you're in the middle of it, you don't really know the bigger picture. You never know the bigger picture until you're way back, and you can look back and say, okay, what was real, what was not real, what was done on purpose, what was not done on purpose, what was the appropriate response. And it takes a while. And I should have in my head thought, wait.
I mean, we all should have. I mean, even now, like I've told people, I said, look, we may get some information right now, or not now, but again, like you're saying, months from now, whatever, in the future, where holy crap, it was a bioweapon, or holy crap, it was this, or whatever it is. And I'm like, when I see that, I'll grasp it, and I'll say, hey, I held on to this view this whole time, but guess what? Here's the new data. Throw that away, whatever it is. But like Cliff kind of said in the email, he's like, you know what, guys, because I approached it with, just so everyone knows, with Bix and Cliff, because I'm like, well, this isn't like I don't want, let's go debate, no, let's just, guys, let's talk about what the hell's going on. Like, I'm looking at old WebBot reports, and
they're coming true. It's like 3 years was removed, and 2.5 years, 3 years was removed, and then all of a sudden it is right spot on again right now.
It's happening. So I was like, well, let's maybe chat about some of that. And Cliff kind of replied, was like, well, he was like, I'll be honest, I don't even want to look at that. We need to start talking about the future, what the future is going to look like, and what we need to do about it, and how we can help, and that kind of thing. And I thought, well, yeah, okay. It makes sense, because, yeah, I've read you guys all those summaries back in the day. Like, most of you remember a lot of it, because I see you send me emails from pieces of it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, save that. That's something to talk about. But, okay, we've known about it for years now. It's here. So what do? We don't talk about how great it was and all these hits, and it said this, it said that. Okay, it's here, cool. And it's kind of a scary way, cool. It's here, but now what? So I kind of get where Cliff is saying, well, I'm sure we'll probably bring a few things up, just knowing Cliff, anyways. But not that we have to discuss these old WebBot reports, but we need to look at the future. That's the most important thing. And I agree. I know you agree. We both like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I said, Cliff, when you think you got time, just email me and Bix, we'll make it happen. We're both pretty flexible these days.
Absolutely.
And just so everyone knows too, Bix too, I was talking with Penny Kelly yesterday, and I'd emailed her several days ago, and said, hey, I'm feeling like we ought to do another video. You've been saying some things, a lot of things have happened that you talked about, and maybe a little update video, a little live stream or something. And day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, I haven't heard from her. I'm like, shit, is she mad at me? Because like me kind of going off on Bix and Cliff, is he now, well, she got back to me yesterday. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry it took so long, and I've just been so busy. I've been getting so many emails, and so many people are worried, and this and that, and yeah, we do need to talk. So she goes, give me a call. So I called her, and for a minute I thought, well, we're gonna do a live stream like last night. But she goes, well, I told you to call instead of Zoom because I don't have time to Zoom now, although I could. She goes, I'm about to do one of these look-sees that I do on Saturday. I usually wait to the beginning of the next month, but things are just too crazy right now. I want to know. So she goes, I'm doing one Saturday, and why don't we talk Sunday so I can just break the news on your show and see what I got, if I get anything new. I'm like, oh, perfect, beautiful, thanks. I told her, I said, man, I thought maybe you were kind of not wanting to talk to me for a minute because I was a little rough on some people, and she goes, no, it wasn't that, but anyway, so as she's talking to me, I was just getting this sense of, hey, that drone footage you got again of that one cave that you think there might be some artifacts in that you got last month with your daughter. I got real close and zoomed in. Send it to her. Let her take a look at it while she's doing the look-see. So I'm like hearing this as she's talking to me. Yet I had no intention of even I didn't even care about that. I want to know what she had to talk about the future. And I'm like, Penny, I've gotten this a few times when we talk. Do you think you want to give this a little go and try? I said, and if nothing comes up, no harm, no foul, because you don't typically do this, but I'm feeling like I should send you this picture, this drone footage I got the other day when I was down there. There are some artifacts staring me in the face in the cave, and maybe you can take a look-see and see what you see is in there. I think it goes back further as well, but you can only look at the mouth of this thing. Is there stuff back there? I don't know. So maybe you can take a look, see if you got the time and you can get to that point. So other than that, stick to your own thing. So she goes, no, send it to me. I'd like to see it. I'd like to try it. So I was like, okay, cool. So maybe Sunday we'll hear something amazing, both from her and maybe what she sees in this cave. Because the place that you and I and the boys went, the main place, this is a little bit away from there, but not, you wouldn't walk. It's too far to walk or hike. But we can drive to a certain location, then get out and hike this spot. It does take a little bit to get there, but it's not a bad hike. And
is it? I know you did it with the drone. Is it accessible by? Would you have to go above the little hole to
Yes.
rappel
You
down?
have to rappel down.
Okay.
But getting there's no rappelling. You can get down there. There's a way we can get there. I almost got to it when I was with my kid, and that's when I said I got this overwhelming feeling: is stop, don't move, danger. And I'm just like, whoa, why am I feeling this? This is scaring I'm scaring myself. Like, whoa. And I just stopped and had to take a few steps back, sit down on a rock, a couple sips of water, and I'm like, why am I feeling like this? I'm looking back at where, like, the way back to get back to the car, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it out of here. I think we're still going to be stuck here. I may have to call 911, have them chopper come get us. I'm like having these stupid thoughts, like I'm done. And then lo and behold, I talked to JC when I got back to tell him the story. He goes, dude, I didn't tell you and Dave this, but when we went there to the top part of that whole area on our last trip, you guys were up top. I was down below. I told you on the walkie-talkie, I'm heading back. I'll meet you. You know, you meet me at the top. I'll meet you at the bottom, and we'll just meet up there, the main way in. He goes, I had the same feeling. I felt like I was like I'm dying. Like this is it for me. I'm never gonna make it out of here. This is it for you, JC. What are your last things and your thoughts? You know, he goes, I had to stop, collect my thoughts, sit down on a rock, and I'm like, dude, I had to do the same thing. I literally had to sit down on a rock and just collect my thoughts for about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, went away. So I think we've picked up on some energy, someone's energy that was there at some point. And the more I think about it, the more I keep thinking there's one scenario that makes sense to me. And when I was there in November with the boys, we went to that area where this happened with JC, which he didn't tell us. I had this weird thing happen to me. You know, maybe I thought, well, he's maybe been a little embarrassed, you know, I was scared or something. I'm like, I would love to hear the story. I wouldn't make fun of him, but anyway, so it happened to him too. But we're there, and I get home, and I'm like, okay, now I have a whole area that I'd like Dick Algar to remote view. And this drone spot is actually fairly close, like pretty damn close to that spot. So Dick comes up with this drawing, this Indian man from like he says, I think this is like 1800s, small stature. This one guy, he's a white guy, beard, dark hair, dark beard. He's like 50% bloodline of like royalty. So half of him is whatever, but the other half, he's like half bloodline to the royals. He's got a map. He's got some kind of coordinates. He knows where he's going. The Indian man, I see him, you know, hey, come this way. Next time, bring a burro. The wagon can only go so far. This guy has a limp. The Indian has a limp due to an old battle wound. And the more I think about this, I think, man, I wonder if we're picking up on the guy who was down there looking for something. He had the coordinates and the map to try to find something. An Indian was helping him somehow. And he maybe was feeling, oh, how am I going to get out of here? I've got this messed up leg. We got down, but how the hell am I going to get back up? Because as you know, going down is easy. Going up is hard, especially on a cliffside. You know, we're picking up on this guy's energy. I really don't know, but every time I think about it, that guy comes into my head like, I don't have a name. I don't have anything like that. There's no history about the guy other than what Dick Algar saw. But the most interesting thing that Dick saw was this cloth wrapping around what he says is a pure gold tablet looking thing, you know, and I say tablet as in ancient tablet, not an iPad, but he described it as the size of an iPad, you know, like 8-9 inches tall. It was kind of thick and maybe 6-7 inches wide, that kind of a thing. But he said heavy, very heavy, pure gold, whatever cast mold made this thing. It was one of a kind. When it made the gold thing, it was destroyed. That was it. So he says he sees it being wrapped in like a cloth, and then wrapped again, the cloth wrapped inside of like a animal hide, leather kind of a thing, whatever, and then tied. And he drew all this out in the remote viewing session, and he mentioned these rock alignments that happen. He says there's one day out of the year where the sun either comes up or sets, which he thought was sets, but it actually comes up on the way he drew it. So I knew it was the sun coming up, not setting. But he said there's like one day in particular where this sun comes up, and it has to do with this rock alignment and the sun thing, where it's like a form of triangulation. And I thought, aha, I've heard about that, where they would mark these rocks and they would have shapes on the edges of them, even like like that. Well, take a compass direction that way, one that way, and see where it goes to. You're going to find another similar rock or something, and ultimately it'll be some kind of shape. I don't know if it's a triangle, a star, but ultimately I think it's something. And I've researched this a bit, and there's not a lot about this, so I think that's valid. So when we went up there with the boys, we went over there because a guy gave us a lead. The guy that gave me the lead, just so you know, for your stuff, we talked a little bit about the Grand Canyon. He's a firm believer. But he goes, Joe, I know the exact spot that they sealed up. I think he said it was on the edge of a reservation or something. He goes, I could take you right to the spot. He goes, I know exactly where it is.
It is. That's exactly where it is. It's right above the I think it's the Hopi place of emergence, the confluence of the Colorado River and the Little Colorado River. They have sealed it up. They did in the 50s or 40s. They removed, maybe 30s and 40s. They removed all the artifacts. Now this is just Kincaid's cave, the one that hit the news kind of. Yeah, it's 3/4 of the way up a cliff. I have pinpointed it. Dick and his guys did an RV on that. Now, I didn't have them searching for gold. I had them searching for what this guy Seth Tanner, who was a guide who supposedly saw it, and the Indian people blinded him, was the story. And I said, what did he see when he went in that cave? And Dick and Daz Smith and Rock Archie gave amazing, basically what they saw in the RV. Now they're just working off a number.
Right.
And they saw a golden Buddha statue. They saw the most ornate, beautiful carvings, kind of like Egyptian tomb, into the side of the wall with a singular eye. You know, the all-seeing eye, the thing on the back of the $1 bill. And it was radiating energy into Seth Tanner's eyes. That's how he got blinded. And then Kincaid found it, and he worked for the Smithsonian, and that's when everything kind of ended. And you don't hear anything about what they got out of that cave and all that. And then the other RV I did was that one. And he came up with all the spokes of the tunnels that go off. And there was like a portal, a time portal that people would walk down, and it had to do with time travel, had to do with off-planet beings and all kinds of things in it. And it was really, really interesting to me. And then as the research got more and more, I did another RV on how the Grand Canyon was formed. Was it formed by the lazy Mississippi River, or the Colorado River going down and carving it out? No, it was not. And all of them were very clear. It was an energy event. And Cliff had talked about how scientifically this works with the sun and Mars and the electrical discharges that can happen, splitting the earth into the canyon. But that doesn't explain how the mountains within the Grand Canyon. These mountains are on the base of the Grand Canyon, and the mountains look exactly like pyramids. Pretty much all of them, they look like they were made by someone or something. And then part of the RV, Dick explicitly showed these huge mechanical stone things that were used to block off entrances to a massive gold, like a warehouse with golden statues and a place to refine gold. And basically he was describing what's called Cibola, I think it's called. The lost.
The 7 cities of Cibola.
Yeah. The lost golden city within the Grand Canyon. And you look at the Grand Canyon, and all the mountains in the Grand Canyon are named after Egyptian gods. There's the Temple of Isis,
Ra,
Temple of Ra. So, when I left the research, that's kind of where I wanted to get to. But you can't go there. It's been blocked off since Woodrow Wilson blocked off the Grand Canyon into a national park. You're not allowed to do any exploring. You're not allowed to look at any gold. I always hold up my gold in the Grand Canyon from the New York Times. There it is in 1912, right before they started the Federal Reserve. 100% sure now, after all my research, that's why the Federal Reserve was created, because they found billions of ounces of gold, not only in the bank, but when they went exploring and the Smithsonian came in, they found all these pyramids, and under the pyramids was literally storage places for treasures. And that's where I would love to get. You're not allowed to go there. You're not allowed to go near there. There's a military base in the Grand Canyon. They'll take you out if you even try to go there. I know a guy personally who has been there, and he says, yes, it's there. He didn't see any gold, but he did see the Egyptian styles, those obelisk type things.
Yep.
And it is all real. All that shit I've been researching for so long is real, and there are a lot of people knowing. Now, how this all gets back to the Indian, my spirit guides, when you had talked to me about, ask yourself, are we going to find gold or treasure when we went out? Remember that?
Are you talking about back at the Litecoin conference?
Before that, before we went on the trip, or when we were there on the trip, and you and the guys said, hey, what's your take? Do you think we're going to find it? Do you think we're going to find the cave of treasure and stuff like that? I said, no, but I don't think we will, but I will find something more important, which I did, that song and all that, but it also put me in connection with these spirit guides. And I know you guys have talked a lot about, and John Claude has talked a lot about, hey, there's some spirits within this spot that they don't want people in here.
Where we're at?
Well, yeah. They're like, they don't want people in there. And I've been thinking about that, and I had a couple dreams about it since, and it's been a while. But and I was going, well, do you not want us to go there, or is there something more? Is it something? Do you want no one ever to find this spot ever, or what is it you were looking for? And what I got, the feeling I got was they want to tell everybody the truth. They want to tell the world the truth about their heritage, about the different tribes and civilization within the Southwest of America. They want the entire truth to come out. They don't want people to get rich off just because they found a stack of treasure. They want the truth to come out, all the secrets from the Smithsonian to come out, all the hidden treasures within the Grand Canyon, the hidden history within the Southwest. They want it all to come out. That's the reason they're so pissed off. They don't want someone coming in saying, okay, I found $20 billion worth of gold hidden in this one cave.
Right, you had to keep it a secret, melt it down, not tell anybody, and there goes all the history.
Yeah, and that's all that's been happening for the past 100 years in the Southwest. There's been treasure hunters. They find treasure. They don't tell anybody about it. Why? Because the government jumps in and steals it, or the Hopi will come in and say, hey, that's our gold. And I think the Hopi and the American Indian tribes of the Grand Canyon and that area, yes, they absolutely have claim to that land. And if you can claim land, that's the other thing. Right. The Indian, the American Indians, or the Hopi, or whichever tribe, they don't even believe in ownership of land. Right. So, you look at things like the American Indian gaming licenses. Why did this specific group, why were they allowed to put up all these gaming casinos around the country? And what is it about that situation? I think it's because the U.S. knows that all this gold was on Hopi land, and there were treaties signed, and they said, hey, we're not going to let you take the gold out, but we will give you the ability to make your communities rich with these gaming things. I think that's the whole reason behind that. I haven't found the proof yet, and that would have to go back to like John McCain's early days of negotiating that stuff with the American Indians, and we all know what a bad guy he was. So, yeah, I think all these treasures and secrets, I think we're on the kind of on the brink of discovering things that the world needs to know about, and the truth has to be told. And I think you and I and people we know have a good chance of doing that. Now that we have so much information at our fingertips with the internet, whereas, think back, 50 years ago, could people have done what we're doing right now? Do all this research online, find all these clues, put them together? No, they would do and believe what they were told by Walter Cronkite on the news. Right. And today the world is very different. And one of the most exciting things to me is exposing the secrets of the last 200 years of how we've been suppressed, and the Tesla technology and all the hidden secrets about civilizations in the Southwest of the United States, ancient civilizations, and the amount of gold obviously is very enticing and beautiful. And do I think we'll ever rip apart the Grand Canyon to get out the billions of ounces of gold? No, there's no reason anymore with cryptos. But at the same time, it shouldn't be hidden from humanity. It shouldn't be hidden from people. And to me, the biggest thing that this caused, and I know I'm rambling, but the biggest things that it caused, it gave the power of money to the bankers. The reason Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act was 100% because they found all this gold in the Grand Canyon. It would be extremely disabling. There was only 30 million ounces of gold in circulation in the U.S., and here they are finding billions and billions of ounces in the Grand Canyon. So they created the Federal Reserve. That's why it was allowed. That's why it's been able to keep going. And now we're so stuck in that system. The mass chaos, if it ever ended, has put us at their, I mean, literally, we are begging at their feet. That doesn't have to be like that. We can break free, and now is the time. The system will never go back to the way it was. So now is the time to kick the Fed out, start a new system of either gold back or crypto or silver or whatever it is. But now is the time to break free. And I think the more we reveal about these hidden secrets in America, the hidden treasures and why they were hidden and what's going on, I think the better off our country will be and the better off our world will be.
I agree. And I do believe strongly Trump's going to back whatever's coming next, or whatever our currency by gold.
I don't think that would work. Nobody trusts the government anymore. And if you back a currency, that means it's not redeemable. In the Road to Rooted documents, they have them going into the bank and bringing in dollar bills and getting gold coins out. So I think a true gold currency would work along with other stuff. Yeah, gold doesn't work for a lot of things, but why not have gold, silver, and cryptos? Why not all three?
Yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't see a problem with that either. I mean, we've seen this kind of coming for a while with, hey, like Dick Sky says, and even the remote viewing talk about where cryptos is coming. It's going to be the future one way or the other. And even Donald Trump's not going to be able to stop it. So even if Donald Trump decided, no, let's go back to a paper dollar and it is backed by gold, let's say, you're still not stopping crypto. You're not stopping that technology because it's getting rid of an old technology that's antiquated. Nobody goes back and takes something old and stupid and useless. We're all not riding bicycles 50 and 100 miles to go somewhere. We have automobiles. We have airplanes. Like, we're not going back down to bikes and walking.
We're probably going to flying cars.
Yeah, that's coming next. We'll have our own personal vehicles and things like that where we can take off and fly, and it'd be kind of cool. I would really look forward to that because, like I talk about hiking to this spot, boy, it'd be a hell of a lot easier if we could just fly there in a little personal quadcopter or something and just kind of set down right there. A couple of us get out and, we only have to go down there 50 feet over here, just find a little safe spot to land and not have to kill ourselves and look out for rattlesnakes and mountain lions and anything else out there that wants to hurt us and poke us and that kind of thing. So I want to ask you something. Back when you came down there with us, that was our first time ever going there anyways. And then you came. So we've already been there a few times after that now. We've got a lot more work done than you have seen. But I remember I have some video and a couple pictures and things of trying to move that big ass 7 stone out of the way. Mm-hmm. And you and the boys are, trying to wrestle this thing, and I'm like filming it. And finally we got out of the way. I think it was right after that where you're like, I need to go write a song. How the hell did that happen? Like, what? Everyone there, we're all focused on moving stuff and digging, and all of a sudden you were like, I got to write a song. How the hell did that happen?
Besides being an old man tired of moving rock, songwriting is a funny thing. For me, it takes me literally, I can't sit there and work on a song for a long time. It's like a feeling that happens. It takes me half an hour to an hour to write a song and get everything done with it and move on. I rarely make changes. I try not to stop myself. I tried writing a song with Amy about 6 months ago. And it's impossible because she's the whole time saying, hey, wait, you can't walk in the door before you open the window and all these things that were out of order. And I'm like, oh man, you're killing the flow. So it's like a flow that happens through me, whatever it is, spiritual or a desire, a need to get something out. It's like you making videos. You just feel the thing about you need to do it. You just need to do it. And
where does the Indian woman come into this? Did you even know she existed, the spirit, before this, or that was the first time you experienced her and she helped you? Because you said she helped me write the song.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, it is something that I just get, it's kind of like I wouldn't call it a trance, but I'll get in a zone where the song's already written. It's my job to just transcribe it on paper and then the way it sounds. So as far as the Indian woman, it was probably the discussions we'd had the day before we went out there about, because Jean-Claude had talked about, and you had talked about, hey, we're going to give most of this back to the Indian tribes and things like that. We're going to make sure they're all taken care of. That was kind of like your peace offering to the spirits that are saying, hey, you're not allowed here, or we're not so sure you're the guy to grab it, and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that was part of it. And then what I think happened is that tapped into my spirit guides on the American Indian side.
Like it kind of opened that up for you?
Basically? Oh, absolutely. And then it just flowed from there. And then I I'm sitting on the side of that hill. It was a sunny day. It wasn't foggy or anything. Right. But the concept of something being hidden, coming out of the ether, out of the fog to be exposed. And that kind of was a big sub theme of that song, is that if you listen to the words and how it came out, it was kind of what these spirit guides are telling me, looking back. It's we want everything exposed. We don't want to give away treasure. We want our true history to be exposed to the world, and for people to understand the hardships and the triumphs and the origins of origins of humanity, origins of our dealings with other races, other beings, giants on planet Earth. Yeah, there were giants in the Grand Canyon. And absolutely, there's all kinds of whistleblowers coming out now and says, yeah, I've been to the Smithsonian. I've seen the gigantic skeletons and things like that. Those stories were all over the newspapers in the late 1800s in the American Southwest and all over America. All the burial mounds and all that stuff. All that's been hidden by the Smithsonian to basically confine us to, we are just human beings. We were part of this evolution from apes, and that's all we are, and that's all we ever will be. Right. Every day we get smarter than we ever were in the past. We have no connection. There is no other God other than the one we tell you we have, and things like that. And then obviously with technology now, you got everybody running around with a cell phone proving them wrong, taking pictures of spaceships in the sky, and you and I have night vision goggles. We could see it with our own eyes going on. Yep. I had a night with my son Toby that we saw more alien spacecraft that one night. I would say over 100 squadrons flying around, and it was just, we were both blown away. It's like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But what does it take? If it's U.S. military craft that were built, is it all U.S. military craft? How can we have this craft if we're only told that, about the kind of technology they have to fly a, F-16.
Right, and we figured this out in 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And some things were moving a hell of a lot faster than literally the speed of light going like this and then shooting up that way. And, we've seen videos of UFOs and stuff, but when you see it with your own eyes, it puts everything into perspective. It puts you in a point where it's like, how long have we been lied to? How advanced is the universe? How important it is it right now to stand up for our freedom and liberty in the face of other agendas to lock us down and to take away our freedom of liberty? This is the point. I mean, we came here at this time to fight for our free will, even if it means more of us will die. What kind of life would it be living under the thumb of a group of people, a dark group of people, like Dick Allgaier talks about, who want to control us, who want to put us in a box, who want to suppress all of our freedoms? Now is the time we have to fight.
Right. We've always been told, hey guys, this isn't your first rodeo doing this. You've done this a few times before and you failed every time. And everyone's like, yeah, that was those times. We're not failing this time. We're not going back like we did last time when we got to start over. We got too far now. Like, we're at the end. Like, again, I think we've already won. We got the flag ready to plant it. We won, and maybe we don't know it yet, and the bad guys don't know it yet, or something. But I think we're going to get past this. Again, yeah, there's going to be some pain. Again, the suicide hotline's up 8,000% in Southern California, just Southern California. They said it. I sent myself an article to talk about that in the video later. I'm like, man, so we need to do something. Like I'm we're waiting, and I think I don't know if it was Wisconsin. I think I sent myself that too to do. Might have been Wisconsin. They said, oh well, this county within Wisconsin just basically saying, "F you, government, state level. We're not locking down the social crap you want us to do. We're not doing. We're done. We're opening back up down here." And they basically said, "F off." So it's like, okay, that's kind of a good sign, because it's not just the people protesting and saying, "Oh, we're gonna go get it. We're gonna go drive around the streets and protest." And that's a part of the government agreeing with the people, saying, yeah, state government, sorry about your luck. So when the government starts getting involved, that's a good sign. Just like in France, we saw the yellow vests, and then you would see police even joining them many times, saying, "No, I'm not against the people. I'm with them," and they're marching with their uniform on, and but of course we still have some people, police officers and whatnot, who just think, well, just following orders. They said you can't have your kids swinging in a park right now. Let's arrest that lady. That video's been making the rounds.
Yeah.
Can't take your kid to the park. You're going to see lawsuits all over the place when this is all said and done. And
yeah.
I mean,
hey, did you see the mayor of Las Vegas on Anderson Cooper? Mayor of Las Vegas is saying, "Hey, we weren't broken when this lockdown started. Our people are literally starving. We need to open Las Vegas now." And Anderson Cooper saying, "Well, what about the responsibility of people coming into Las Vegas and taking the viruses that in Las Vegas to other places of the world? We can't have that." She's like, "I don't care. This is our world, our life. The people of Las Vegas want to open Las Vegas. If you want to risk coming here, that is your free choice. If anybody wants to avoid the virus, stay inside."
All they have to say is, look, when the flu comes, even a bad case of the flu, do we lock down everything? No. Some people are going to get it. Some people are going to die. We see the numbers every year. So even if Corona becomes worse than the flu by some level, if it's here and that's the way it is for the rest of our lives, again, we all stop working and starve to death, you're going to have more, again, from the suicide hotline going up to people robbing, pillaging, getting shot. I mean, it's going to be Mad Max.
It's AOC's wet dream is the conclusion of staying in lockdown.
Yeah.
The longer you stay in lockdown, the more businesses get shut down, the more you become dependent on the government, and that's what they want. That's what they want. So imagine
we're told $1,200 times 2, $2,400 is your new salary. What about my house? What about all these payments I've got? What about that person?
All the expenses keep going.
Right. So let's just say they barely get you to have your expenses covered, and that's it. You're still struggling like you were before, but now you don't work and it's just money coming in. The bottom line is you're still strapped down. They still got you by the balls. And then they'll start mandating things. Oh, well, you're going to have to get a vaccine if you want this check to continue. You're going to have to do this if you want that check to continue. They got you by the balls. So, like you said, this is the time. We can't sit back and stand for this. I have my full faith in Donald Trump. I still believe some amazing shit's about to go down and take these assholes out at some level and hopefully move on quickly and recover. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going back to anything of a semblance of what we did before when this is all said and done one way or the other.
Yeah, I believe that Trump was put there for a reason, but we can't have faith in him. We have to have faith in ourselves to say, okay, I am the ultimate decider on whether or not I go outside or not. I am choosing to go outside. No government has the right to say, I can't take care of my family. I can't make a business that is prosperous. Ultimately, we the people are going to have to make that decision. Not that Trump. What did he do? He sent all the decision making to the local governors because he knew that would be the best way to do it. Because otherwise, they would just blame him and say, "Oh, you're doing it too soon." Now they're getting their people voting for the governor. Are going to decide whether that governor is going to be in office or out of office based on how well they do coming back, how soon they can come back, and whether or not they even have any kind of means of income for themselves when they do come back. The longer they wait, the less potential for recovery we have. And Martin Armstrong said, "Hey, if we don't do it this week, we are screwed."
Yeah, I saw his stuff. And the other thing, some may say, oh, Trump knew this, he's playing 5D chess or whatever, whether he is or isn't. The bottom line, a lot of the worst conditions, bad conditions are Democratic run governors doing these stupid decisions.
Absolutely.
So they're shooting themselves in the feet. So when it's voting time, and it's getting close for voting time for some of these people, I think someone's coming up next month, I forget which state that was, but like it's over, they're done. In my state, in the county, Hillsborough County, they had a 5-3 vote. This was a couple weeks ago, to basically say, okay, curfew for everyone. You can't go out past 9 o'clock at night. You can't until 5 a.m. And everyone's like, well, that hardly anyone's out then anyways. What sense does that make? Everyone's out during the daytime. You guys are stupid. Like, this is dumb. And you have to wear a mask no matter where you go. So it lasted 2 days. Everyone was protesting, like, even just tweeting and stuff. They had another session on that Thursday. Oh, we jumped the gun. We're sorry about that. We came to a conclusion too soon. We're retracting that. It's not, blah, blah, blah. But again, 5-3 ruling. We had 8 effing people telling you and me, well, if you lived here, what we can do with our lives when we're allowed to go outside, like we're a dog in a leash. 8 people. Just like we look at our damn government at the top end, we have Congress. A few hundred people tell us what we're going to do, what they're going to waste our money on, everything else. And it's like, again, with blockchain, if we can really get this down right, we should be able to get to a point where we really vote for everything ourselves. No more picking someone and letting them vote for us, and because they're going to get corrupt, they're going to do all that crap. But again, how many people, the average person doesn't want to be bothered. Let me watch my TV, my football, and whatever. Oh, I don't want to vote. I'll let you guys vote. The next thing you know, what's happening? Is our country out of control again because a bunch of morons, so to speak, are voting and they don't know what they're voting on. And again, it's just a shitty situation to be in. I kind of can see. I used to do these videos. I repeat it every now and then because it was so interesting. And it was called The Cycles of Government. There's this little entry, I don't know if it was Wikipedia or somewhere, that talked about the Greek word cyclos and whatever. And these great philosophers of the time talked about these 3 or 4 main forms of government, and then these basically like jabroni subforms. In democracy, in case everyone's listening, is a jabroni form, a subform. But it would end in chaos and anarchy, and then a king would pick that person to be the king. He's gonna lead us out like Trump. He's the guy, And then for a while it would work great. He was for the people, and then their kids would take control. The kids were around when their dad was around, so they kind of knew his thinking too. Everything's still fine. But then when the kids had kids, they kind of grew up into this life of luxury and everything. And hey, I've got power. They don't really know anything about what happened before. They didn't live through it. And that cycle starts to change again. People get upset. They want to overthrow the king. And then we go into the next set, So you go from like monarchy and oligarchy and all this crap down to democracy. It's just amazing to see this, because it's like right now is ripe for some type of new form of government to start coming. Mm-hmm. But with Trump in there, is this going to be different this time? I mean, honestly, I don't know, but I do have a lot of faith that if there's anyone else, I just think if Hillary was there right now, oh my God, the virus thing would be, we'd all be locked down. She would have demanded it as president. Oh, yeah. We'd be in big trouble.
We wouldn't even be where we are today because we'd all be, her slaves by now anyway, and the slaves of George Soros, and the economy.
Forced vaccinations.
Oh yeah, everything. But I look at this and I say, okay, we got dealt this hand. We have this hand. We need to get out of the house to have a fighting chance. I don't think we're going to make it. I don't think the country's going to make it. I don't think the global economy has any chance of recovering to where it was. But we are guaranteed to lose if we stay inside the house and don't move forward. And hopefully come May 1st, when a lot of these states say, oh, we're going to have to do it for another 3 or 4 months. Hopefully people say, bullshit, that's enough. I'm walking out. I can't believe the United States agreed to a lockdown in the first place. Getting 330 million people to stop going to work, knowing that it would destroy any hope they have of taking care of their family and friends and loved ones.
And Trump's eaten alive. If he was the one to make the call right off the bat and say, no, we're not shutting down. This is the United States. We got the greatest economy, best unemployment levels we've ever seen. No, we're not shutting down. I'm using my executive authority, blah, blah, blah. They would have eaten him alive. Mm-hmm. Look at all these cases. Look at this. Look at So if you're him, even though if you knew then, and I'm sure he did, we should not be shutting down. He had to do it. He had to allow them, okay, states, you got the power. I'm going to just kind of back your decisions. You guys have the power. I'm the federal government. We shouldn't have to force you to do your own thing. You're a state. Go for it. To let them show their own hands. And yes, the sad part is we as people have to, history shows this one, we have to feel pain in order for us to say, okay,
get off the couch.
Get off the couch. It's time to do something. I'm not, so many people, myself included, when I heard that order, oh, you can't go out past 9. I was like, I'm highly, highly contemplating right now getting a live stream going on my phone and getting in my Tesla, and we're going to go for a cruise together. Just go anywhere and see if I get stopped. And if a cop stops me, we're going to be live streaming. We're going to see how that goes. And I thought, if they ultimately arrest me because I'm not willing to comply, am I willing to do that right now? My wife and kids, newborn baby, is it really worth it for me to make a point right now? Not really. And of course, 2 days later, oh, never mind, we made a mistake. But even those 2 days, there's enough there because the order was given for every person in Hillsborough County to file a lawsuit. We would bankrupt the county instantly.
They don't have any money anyway.
They don't have any money, and they certainly don't have enough to handle even a small amount of lawsuits.
Yeah.
Even if it was the judge, oh no, we'll give you, $20,000, $10,000 a day. That's all you get. Okay, well, 100,000 people show up out of 2 or 3 million people in this area. You're done. You're finished.
Yeah.
So, that's going to come. I mean, this could be I could just see a big fight over this, and I think we'll probably see some big Supreme Court cases about the whole curfew thing. They're going to probably look at that. Is curfew ever allowed? No. Stopping people, Fourth Amendment, First Amendment, can't do it under no circumstances. No curfew, because that's been a big fight in Florida and other states too. Because teenagers getting up to no good, stealing stuff at night. Oh, well, if we put a curfew in, that doesn't allow them past 11 o'clock. That stops some of the riffraff. Well, again, as much as I don't want to deal with the riffraff, people's rights are the most important thing.
Who's government to say who's the riffraff, who's not the riffraff?
Right. And how do you know what these kids are going to do? Does that because 1 or 2 kids are bad means 20 or 30 are also bad? It's that old shit we always dealt with in school, in freaking public school. Well, I know it was PE time for you guys to go out and play kickball, your favorite sport today, but little Johnny would not close his book when the teacher asked him to. So little Johnny, the rest of you are not going out because of Johnny's actions today. The teacher's like, no, just put Johnny in timeout. Let us go. We didn't do anything, and that's the damn mentality of a lot of these people. Again, it seems like it's mostly these leftist Democratic, kind of people for whatever reason. I don't understand why that is, but it's like this mass herd thinking on the left. And, if I can't have it, nobody can have it. And, it's just stupid.
The only people against, who should be against, well, they shouldn't be, but the only people against returning to work are the people who, for the most part, don't rely on themselves to take care of their friends, family, and businesses. They mostly work for the state. They mostly work in schools, go to school. By the way, if you are in college right now, I don't think there's any way any college is going to open up again after this is over in September, because they're all bankrupt. They need that flow of money coming through, and good luck ever getting that money again. So all of them will be closing up shop, and literally people will be like 3/4 of the way done with their college education, and all of a sudden the college is gone. And we've seen it before in private colleges like the Heald College, the accounting colleges and things like that have shut down. It's like, wait a minute, I'm 3/4 of the way done and I don't have a little piece of paper. Not that those pieces of paper help much these days, but
well, and also, maybe I did get my college degree, and this happened now, and my job's not ever coming back potentially,
depending on what your major.
Right, and well, that's okay. How do you like building infrastructure and roads and stuff? Well, I didn't go to school for that. Well, sorry, we got a whole bunch of jobs that Donald Trump's gonna put up for you if you want a paycheck. So how many people? I mean, we already had the stats that typically 50% of the people that graduate college don't even go get work in their field anyways. After this, what's it going to be? People are going to look back. Why the hell did I waste all that money and time in college? And now I'm stuck, building an infrastructure and whatever for the next, 5 years or 10 years or however long. If we're talking a major infrastructure job, this is going to be going on for probably a decade. There'll be a lot of people back employed, but
why are they building new roads and infrastructure when we can go right to flying cars?
Flying cars.
And I think my hope is that the secrets start coming out and the new technologies start getting released, free energy, flying cars, all this stuff that, I mean, do we really want to spend 10 years rebuilding the old infrastructure in the United States? Or would it be smarter to spend 2 or 3 years releasing these new technologies and build a new kind of infrastructure that's more geared towards a society that can use free energy, that can use flying cars? You know, we'll be needing, you know, a little landing pad outside your top floor window of your house. That's more than we're going to need a slab of cement from California to New York. So you know, if Trump's talking about infrastructure, and if he's on the side of the good guys, it's probably the whole system falls apart, and then we build a new type of infrastructure with new technologies that will be needed in the future, not something to try to rebuild the past.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I would wonder though, I mean, because this happened so fast, you almost have to wonder, you know, do we have to kind of do both? Well, we got to keep the old system afloat on that side, at least for our roads and that technology and stuff, and kind of wean off into the newer technology. You know, I see all these new car companies with some that we've never even heard of, just brand new car companies that are doing the whole electric vehicle thing. Then we've got the old car companies that are starting to weasel their way into there as well, not just Tesla. Again, are we going to finally transition off to gas?
I think the car companies are done. I think with China shutting off the parts, basically the machine tools and manufacturing capacity to give to the rest of the world, which they are. The U.S. and China are not on good terms. We get most of our parts for autos from China, and that's why, you know, the auto companies didn't necessarily shut down because, you know, they said, well, it's a COVID thing. I think they shut down because they can't get any parts to make new vehicles.
Say that again?
Most of the manufacturing parts of a car, you know, there's 10,000 pieces that need to be manufactured from raw materials and all kinds of things. This is for computers too. This is for all manufacturing. Most of that was being done in Asia. Yeah. And then they'd ship the parts for final assembly to the US, and then voila, you have your car. You can't make a car without the material for the front seat. You can't make a car without a little handle to roll down the window. You need every single piece and part to work, and China's no longer trading with us. So how are we going to make cars in the future? We don't have the machine tools to make the component parts that go into a car. How are we going to make a car? We're going to have to rebuild our manufacturing, which will take 10 to 15 years. And just to get to where China is today.
It reminds me, every time I think about that, the old John Teeter thing. One thing he said about the damn bike tires. And he asked, he said, you know, I'm going to ask you guys a question. He goes, where are bike tires manufactured? And he said, I think later on, he goes, well, no one really answered my question, but I'll go ahead and tell you. They're manufactured in China, as you're about to find out, in 2008. Meaning, and he went on to talk about you're not going to have them manufactured anymore. So since you don't manufacture them in America, come 2008, you're going to find out just who manufactures them because you can't get them anymore. Referring to China again, because he said China. However, we're near year 2020, not 2008, whatever. That, for him to say that, and you realize, oh yeah, there's bike tires come from China. Bike tires do come from China, and they've stopped shipping, and there's some problems right now. That is eerily, you know, that makes you go back and want to look at everything he said, you know, but.
I do, and I do go back. I go back to your videos, and I remember hearing about it before you did the videos, but the videos are a perfect summary that you did. I think there was 4 of them.
4 parts, yeah.
And I remember thinking, hey, maybe and I was into silver and gold at the time. I was like, maybe I should stock up on bicycle inner tubes and throw them all in the garage, and then I could sell them for 10 times.
I do have a little bit of excess that I've had for years because of that story. And they're sitting in the box still wrapped in the plastic. I don't have a lot though. And it was never for me to honestly like try to sell. I was like, if I need them, they're for me. But for me and my family, we're going to have, and I still got a garage over here. Everyone in my family, minus little baby boy, has a bike, even though we don't really ride them anymore. You know, I've got the little electric trike thing. The girls have these little electric scooters that a friend of ours bought them a couple Christmases ago. Their friends come over, they ride up and down the street, you know. who wants to pedal a bike when you can press a button and sit down and speed around, But at the same time, like I look at all those bikes, I'm like, man, I just almost want to get rid of them. They're just sitting here doing nothing. But then I always go back to, well, hold on, you might need these things one day, But I look back at, well, Donald Trump won. If you look at the John Teeter story, I really think he was insinuating we were going to have a female president, and that president was supposed to be Hillary. We don't have her. We got Trump instead. So a lot of the really bad stuff I think he talked about may not be happening. However, some of the other stuff still might be, like the China thing. That's a big blow to one way or the other if he's right about the China thing. And, you're going to find out who makes your bike tires here shortly. We just found out it's China, and they've stopped shipping and they've shut down production. And I do have one friend that's in the medical industry, and she was talking to one of her clients who 100% relies on this particular manufacturer in China for something that they buy, a medical piece of equipment, some part or whatever it is. And without it, they're just done. They can't do anything. So she told me this about probably 2 weeks ago. She says, oh, that they're back up to 50% manufacturing now at that particular place in China. And this wasn't Wuhan, just, I don't know what part of China, but it was some part that also shut down. So it's like, okay, but again, how true is it? Do we really know? I don't know. There's a big pause of it. I know that much. And that pause we're probably going to feel. And then we got the other issue right now. I think we have 2 major meat plant factories that have shut down. One of the latest, I think, was Tyson. I think it was mainly pork or whatever, but I forgot what the other one was before that. And they said, oh, well, we got, 100 of our workers got COVID, so we're just going to shut the whole plant down. Okay. And my woo-woo friend was telling me recently, she goes, what I'm getting is we're going to hear not only the people got it or getting it, it's on the meat. That's why they're going to really shut down the meat plants, factories. I thought, oh, you need to get some stored up now in your freezer, get an excess. So the other day I went and got we already had some in our freezer, and then I went to Publix supermarket and got like 10 more 1 pound, things of meat, chopped meat and stuff, organic, grass fed while it's still there. And I'll tell everybody listening too, I just saw, and I retweeted it. John Solomon said, oh, hey, one of our sponsors, I forgot which one he said, they've got it. And if you use this code, you get a big discount, and they'll ship it right to your house, and the freeze dried stuff. And then this and that. My wife does that sometimes too, and it comes fine. So if you want to find it, my Twitter handle is Realist News, all one word, and just look for something I retweeted here just recently, about an hour or so ago, a couple hours ago, because if they still got plenty in stock, it wouldn't hurt to have some frozen meat in your freezer just in case. Even if it only lasts, okay, they shut down the meat factories for a month, 2 months, finally got it back up. There's a 2-month period in the future where, okay, maybe we can't get it. Everyone's gonna be panicking. Oh, I need meat. We want meat. You've got plenty in your refrigerator or freezer to last you those 2 months until everything, okay, it's back online, and they're they've amped up production a bit to catch up. Okay, good. And assuming it goes that way, I think it will.
Imagine, look at this political call.
Yeah.
Imagine if there's a banking collapse at the same time that all this shit's going on. Now, I heard 2 French banks, large ones, have lost billions in the oil derivatives. That's just starting to leak out. I don't know how many others have lost trillions in the oil derivatives are so big. I estimate them to be 1 quadrillion. If you include all the offshoots of different, every oil contract has a different place it's delivered. Oil is used to make plastics, to make ethanol, and all the other offshoots of oil all have derivatives. I think it's a 1 quadrillion.
And all the oversubscription of, 5, 10, 20, 50 people own the same contract and they don't really know it. Like if you all demand a delivery.
Yeah. So look, all the bad things are happening now. We're stuck in the house, and let's just tack on a banking shutdown on top of all that. Where does that put us? It puts us right into the hands of Dick Allgire's bad guys and the lefties saying, okay, depend on your government for everything. We're going to give you a universal basic income if you get these vaccines, if you run around by this card. If you use your card, you can have cryptos. You can have Tether attached to your card. And, oh, by the way, if you misbehave with your social engineering points, we're going to cut off your card so you can't eat.
Yep.
That's the way we're headed. That's the way they want to push us. And I think it's up to us to get outside and fight for our rights and our freedoms, even if it's just in the U.S. I think the U.S. can show the world that you don't have to fall into the hands of these criminals. What you can do is go out and say, okay, I'm a sovereign citizen. I know that my country's fucked. The monetary system is gone. I am going to get out there and produce the best I can, and at least I have a fighting chance out there, as opposed to becoming a slave in their slave system.
Right. If you guys remember, Vix, you might have seen this. It may have been an interview thing that was set up by InfoWars or something, Alex Jones back in the day. I forget how it happened, but Aaron Russo, filmmaker, did the Freedom to Fascism about the IRS, show me the law where it says this, and they couldn't show him the law, we're being taxed. But he did an interview, I think with Alex Jones, where he said, I became friends through an acquaintance in the movie industry, a lawyer friend. She said, how would you like to meet one of the Rockefellers? He's one of my clients. And he said, oh, well, yeah, I know that name. Sure, yeah. Met Nicholas Rockefeller. They became friends. He gave this guy, Aaron, quite a good bit of good investment advice. And they'd go to dinner together. He was showing pictures of them, buddy, and said, one day at dinner, he's telling me right before 9/11, hey, there's going to be this event. And out of this event, we're going to go to the war in the Middle East. We're going to go after these terrorists in these caves. We'll never be able to find them. So we're just going to keep this war going on forever. And it basically leads to tipping the population. And Aaron's like, well, why do that to people? Like, you have all the money, you have all the power. Like, why even just let people be, he looks over, he looks over at me like, Aaron, who gives a F? Like, who the hell cares? Just take care of you and your family. Who cares about the people? And he said, but he told me, the ultimate goal was to microchip the population somehow, put everything on that microchip. Your whole life will be on that microchip. And if you ever step out of line, start exposing things they're doing or whatever, saying things they don't want you to say, they just turn off your chip. When the police officer goes to stop you, you don't even exist. So you're basically like an illegal alien. Everything's gone, just erased. He says that's how we'll deal with these people, these protesters. And Aaron's like, Nick, that's just not me. I don't have that in my heart. That's not who I am. I don't want to be that kind of person. He said, we kind of somewhat ended the relationship there. And of course, after that, Aaron Russo does these videos. And
Freedom to Fascism.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he gets a fast moving cancer and he's dead in like a year's time after figuring out that he got cancer. Speaking of cancer, everybody, WikiLeaks just did a massive unloading. Blacklisted News website has it. And I was prowling through there this morning and I found Steve Jobs in there and I clicked on it, original creator of Apple,
and original creator of Bitcoin, one of them.
He has had HIV AIDS and cancer, pancreatic cancer. He had AIDS, and they had a screenshot of his actual printed out, like someone took it with a camera, paper, doctor's name, social security number, had everything on there. HIV positive. Like, they hid that from it. Not that it's anyone's business exactly, but it just goes to show you all the stuff these, people are into and do, and and I don't have anything. Listen, I don't have anything against gay people. I do find it odd that there's a lot of gay people, even if they're closet homosexuals, in our media, like in interesting positions. Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon, like Rachel Maddow, all these people. Like, why are there just gay people? Why are there so many gay people over there? Is there some kind of an ulterior agenda? Is it a certain type of gay person that makes them do some of the things and say some of the things they say? Because people have talked about Steve Jobs being kind of, on the left field, if you will. Who knows what the whole story was, and that's how he got HIV and all that. But I don't know. I don't have an answer. It's an interesting that it's odd to me.
Well, yeah, HIV is part of the bioweapon supposedly, so we might all end up with trace HIV. And again, I get back to, we're gonna get something. If it ain't this Corona,
there's something.
COVID-19, we're gonna get something later. Your smartest move is to chug your vitamin C, make your cell walls stronger, Cliff's chaga mushroom stuff. I think it works on HIV.
Hold on. For the purpose of YouTube, he's not saying vitamin C and chaga will cure or fix anything for coronavirus. He's just saying he wants people to stay healthy and build up their immune system. That's it.
It'll strengthen your defenses against everything.
Everything, right. So the YouTube Gestapo, before he said it was oh, shoot. He just gave the disclaimer, damn it.
It strengthens your defenses against liberals.
Actually, I don't know. I see Mark Dice's shirts, liberalism, find a cure. I bought a few of those back in the day. I don't think there's a cure yet. Yeah. I don't think there's a cure yet. Maybe that malaria drug will cure that too. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Hey,
Snippy, we could go on forever. I do have to get going, but I want to thank you for making the time today. And I want to apologize to all our fans for the dust up. We're back together. The band's back together again.
Boys are back in town.
We're going to be digging in tunnels in the Southwest.
And, so I'll ask you real quick. Because if there's an opportunity for me to go back in May, like, okay, everything's open up, New Mexico, everything's good. I'm not really affected by the shutdown. Like, I'm surprised that so many patrons are still sticking around. Now, I'll let you know on the 1st of next month when these payments go through if a bunch of people jump ship because of the corona thing. But if everything's still, decent in my financial livelihood here, I really want to go back. But this time, JC probably won't be able to come because his country's super liberal lockdown. Dave may be able to come. If not, I know a couple good guys too. There'll be probably 4 of us total. If you came, it'd be 4.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm all
5. But I want to go to the rappel spot. And I have this device.
That'll be great watching you rappel down the hill.
You press a button and it just gravity feeds you down, and then you stop, let go. When you want to go back up, got a little battery pack on it. You press the button, it'll pick you right up the rope.
James Bond.
It's easy. So I have to be first. I did to make the discovery, so I have got to be first to go in there.
Hey, you could go first, trust me.
And another thing is, if I have a GoPro and you guys have like a little iPad up there, it's fairly close. I don't know if I'll be able to beam the signal enough through the cave wall or something, but if it could pick it up, you could actually see live on whether it's a phone or an iPad, my iPad or something, what I'm actually seeing. Otherwise, I just radio, hey guys, I'm sending you something up. This looks interesting. Bring the other rope down in a bag and whatever. But we wouldn't go to the main side. This would be, there's a cave there. There's certainly stuff sitting there staring at me. I don't know what it is. Some of it needs to be open to look at.
Yeah, it looks like something.
So I want to go see what the hell it is. And matter of fact, let me read you guys this. We'll end the video right after this. I meant to tell you this earlier. I asked Desiree the other day. I just sent her a quick text with that picture of the cave, and I said, "All right, psychic girl, what do you see here? Anything?" She said, "I see a lot here, not just trinkets, but crystals." And I was told to expand picture, and there were 2 faces saying a lot of stuff. There are jars of stuff. So I asked, do you think it's just artifacts or is there any gold? I think there are both. Also, it goes back further back. I feel jewels of some sort. I know this is crazy, but I also see teeth. I just thought maybe someone is buried there deep within, maybe 2 people. So it makes me wonder, was this a chief? Was this like a special spot in their stuff at the front of the cave? Again, I don't know. But I'm like, like you, let's go. Let's see what's in there. This is artifacts. It's history, man. Come on. And I want to go get it. So if the opportunity arises sometime in May, do you think you'd be able to pull off a trip?
Yeah, definitely. It could be a warm up to scaling down the wall of the Grand Canyon to find Kincaid's Cave at 12,000 feet above the canyon floor.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to get 2 of those things. We'll go down side by side.
There you go.
All right, so appreciate you coming on, and we'll chat again another time.
Absolutely. You take care, Snippy.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
See ya. Let's see. End meeting.